Hello, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well on this, almost said Friday, Thursday evening. Used to being here on Fridays most of the time. Well, we do, on our True Crime After Dark, we do like every other Thursday, every other Friday. So this is our Thursday week for True Crime After Dark. But I hope everybody is doing well. I hope the weather is decent wherever you are. Welcome to our subscribers, our members, our lurkers. Welcome to everybody in chat. Welcome to Replay Crew. We love our Replay Crew. Thank you so much. Tonight we are going to be looking at some cold case homicides. And I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, the fourth live stream we've done of what I call our Unsolved Lives. And I do have a playlist just for these lives, for the Unsolved Lives. So please do check out the ones, the first three, if you haven't seen them already. And I got I have 5 cases tonight I want to take a look at and share with you guys. And I got them from solvethecase.org. And they're from just around the United States. And so we're taking a look at it. I can't talk tonight as usual. Taking a look at them tonight. But I hope everybody is well. Either this evening, afternoon, morning, depending on what part of the world you're in or when you're watching this. It's hot in here, stuffy. I've got the wind. It's like 60 degrees. It's nice outside here in Arkansas. It's like 65 degrees. I got my window cracked, but I don't feel any air coming in. But anyway, if you're new here, thank you so much for choosing to take some time out of your night and spend some time with us here in this. We have a wonderful community here. Nice, safe space for people to come in and learn about some missing persons, learn about missing persons, the cold cases, to freely share our opinions, have adult conversations. You know, we might not always agree on everything, but we can have adult conversations. And once again, before I forget, thank you to all the mods, everybody with wrenches here who throw in links for me during the live stream, and just keep an eye on the chat and keep everything nice and safe and at least PG rated in the chat. So we will see who is here tonight. Miss Lisa Joe checked in first. Welcome, Miss Lisa. Patriotism was in second. Always good to see you here. Miss Farr was third. Good, always good to see Miss Farr. Let's see. Yeah, Miss Farr says yes, please. Welcome, definitely welcome to everybody. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you'd like to, if this is your cup of tea, if you like learning about missing persons and cold cases, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to all, so you know when I upload new videos. I try to upload short videos through the week, and we usually do two live streams a week. Monday nights we do our Missing Person Monday live streams, and then usually, like I said, every other Thursday, every other Friday night we have a True Crime After Dark. Usually, sometimes we'll do we'll take a break from some of the true crime, and we'll do either some fun stuff. We'll talk about some movies or music, or we'll dive into some conspiracies and mysteries and things of that nature. And please also make sure, if you, for any channel, any YouTube channel that you want to be subscribed to, that you have subscribed to, please make sure you're still subscribed to those channels, because the YouTubes for some reason will unsubscribe you for who knows why they do it. But so just make sure you're still subscribed to all the channels that you want to be subscribed to. Miss PJ checked in. She says, "Oh man, I gotta go. I have to make my late entrance." Yes, Miss PJ is always joking about coming in late. I'm sure she'll be back. Hey, Boston Christian, good to see you. Welcome, Vicky McClure. That's a new name for me, but welcome. We are glad to have you here. Always glad to see new people here. Lisa Joe made it back. Our friend Junior is here. Hello, Junior. Good to see you. He is in Michigan tonight. It's almost past his bedtime. So Miss Vicky is in Texas. She's getting rain in my area of Texas. Yeah, it rained here most of the day here in Arkansas. I'm in central Arkansas, but it's rained pretty much through the, oh no, it kind of came down, hit the middle, kind of made a diagonal through the state. So yeah, we got some rain today. Much needed rain. Much needed rain. There's our Miranda. Hello, dear. Good to see you. Miranda wants to know if anyone has heard anything about Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve did pop in. Was it Monday night to your Missing Person Monday live stream? Yep, Mr. Steve was here then. I haven't seen or heard anything from him since then. But hopefully he is doing well. Junior says it's 63 degrees in Adrian, Michigan. Nice, nice. Yeah, he's been out during this time of year, Mr. Steve. For anybody who doesn't know, Mr. Steve and Mrs. Steve, check out True Crime Web. I'm sure somebody can throw the link in to Mr. Steve's channel. He's a retired law enforcement, retired CSI, but he has a nonprofit foundation, True Crime, and I will put the link. Hold on. Let me go to the right tab and find it. The True Crime Web Foundation, which is a nonprofit that allows him to go out free of charge to help families find their missing loved ones, help with cold cases. So that's what he does this time of year. He's out on the road a lot. So hopefully, he's out doing the good work. So I'm sure when he starts winding down his cases that he's working on for this year, that he will be back to posting on his channel. But we absolutely understand he's out doing important work. So But yeah, it'll be good to see him back on his channel. Hey Mustang, how you doing, dear? Good to see you. Hello, Albie Frank. Good to see you. Miss Louise, it is always good to see you. Let's see. Miss PJ's back. Is this your late appearance? You're not that late, Miss PJ. There is a link to the truecrimeweb.com foundation. Now that's the website. That's not the YouTube channel. But I can't put in channel links in through. I'm on the StreamYard side. So like I said, I'm sure somebody will. Oh yeah, Miss PJ's got it. There is a link to True Crime Web YouTube. Please do check it out. Even if he's not, not doing lives right now or putting up any new videos, he has got a wealth of videos and live streams. Check out the playlist. He does recreations, CSI recreations of different cases, different scenarios. He talks about different cases, gives his expert analysis of things. So it's well working out. Yep, he's still working cases. Yep, absolutely. Somebody can put Frank's link in. Did I miss Farmer? Is he in here? Hold on. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Sometimes I scroll here a little bit fast. Thought somebody mentioned Farmer. Or maybe that Mr. Steve had been in Farmer's chat. I don't see him. Okay. Get back down to where I was at. There's Sunday Doodles. Always good to have you here. Welcome, welcome. There is Frank's channel. Thank you, Miss PJ. What does that mean? That's got to be an Australian saying. Miss Farr says she's listening and piss farting. I don't know. I don't know. What does that mean, Miss Farr? Oh, goodness gracious. Whatever Miss Farr is doing, we're always glad to have Miss Farr here. Oh, goodness. Okay. I think I am caught up. So, trying to mark where I was at so I won't. Oh my goodness, I can't get anything to work. Operator error. There we go. Okay, so bring my slideshow up. Once again, I have 5 cases, cold case homicides to share with you. Once again, in no particular order, just from around the U.S. I just went to the solvethecase.org website and all the links. The link to the solvethecase.org website and to all the online news sources that I use, website sources that I use are always linked in the description. So feel free to read them at your leisure. Share them out if you wish. That's the most important thing we can do is share. Any missing persons flyers, live streams that any of us do that share missing persons in these cold cases. That helps tremendous. Sharing, commenting, liking the video or live stream, all those things help push it out to as many people as possible, and that is the whole goal, is for as many people as possible to see these. All right, so first we have Zelma Anderson. Oh, I gotta get back to her information. So this is from McDowell, Kentucky, from August of 1982. So 53-year-old Zelma Anderson's, and I put it up in the beginning, the little placard at the beginning, and then I flashed it up on one of my banners. Just trigger warning all the way through for tonight, because these do deal with homicides. We never get too graphic on here, but just the nature of the crimes. will absolutely, understandably be maybe triggering. So just trigger warning throughout. But 53-year-old Zelma Anderson's skeletal remains were found near McDowell, Kentucky, in an old Orkney strip mine on December 23rd, 1982. So this was just literally right before Christmas. So this was almost 5 months after she disappeared. So they did determine that she was a victim of a homicide. She showed signs of SA, and she had been beaten to death. So as of 2025, as we are doing this live stream, there are no known suspects, but it does say that there could be multiple assailants. So I found that interesting. So Zelma was a hairdresser from Floyd County, Kentucky. Her remains were actually found by teenagers who were foraging for coal in these coal mines. And on October 11th of 1982, state police were alerted by Mary Anderson that her sister Zelma had been missing since that Monday, August 2nd. So she was reported missing. I'm trying to figure out how long it was. So she'd been missing. Her sister said she'd been missing since August 2nd. And then her remains were found December 23rd of 82, 5 months after she disappeared. Okay. And that efforts to locate her by several relatives in between when her remains were found had been unsuccessful. So really, that's really all the information on this one that I could find. But if you have, I'm trying to find the, I don't think it gave a phone number. I'm assuming McDowell, Kentucky. I don't know if FBI is, but if you have any information, I would contact, we'll say 911, but when you say 911, we're talking about missing persons. But maybe McDowell, Kentucky, law enforcement, city enforcement, Kentucky State Police. Because on some of these, it does list phone numbers of the agency that's handling it, but on this one, it does not. So anyway, I was able to find something interesting, which I wasn't able to read the whole article. It's from crimesolverscentral.com. It lets you read a little bit of the first of it, but then when you click to read more, it takes you to where you have to pay, basically you have to pay money to read everything. But it does mention, so on August 2nd, 1982, 53-year-old Zelma Anderson vanished without a trace. Her sudden disappearance left friends and family in McDowell, Kentucky, deeply concerned. Despite efforts to locate her, months passed with no leads, and the case grew cold. So nearly 5 months later, on December 23rd, 1982, skeletal remains were discovered in an old Orkney strip mine near McDowell. The remains were identified as those of Zelma. The location and condition of the body suggested foul play, leading authorities to suspect homicide. However, no suspects were identified and the case remains unsolved. So they do mention in recent years, online forums have speculated. Now, keep in mind, just speculation. And before I go any further, all thoughts, views, theories, speculations that we discuss here tonight are our own. For anybody out there interested in this case or any case you may be interested in, just please do your own research on the case. Listen to many different podcasts or whatever you listen to, and form your own opinions on these cases. So, but there was online forums have speculated about a possible connection between Zelma's death and the crimes of Samuel Little. So you guys, a lot of you guys may know who Samuel Little is. And I'm going to read a little bit of his Wikipedia information. He's probably one of the most prolific. So he was a convicted serial offender. He did confess to numerous homicides across the U.S. Some of his known victims were in the southeastern U.S. Around the time of Zelma's disappearance. However, there is no concrete evidence linking Samuel Little to Zelma's case, and authorities have not confirmed any connection. So decades have passed since Zelma's death. Once again, the case remains unsolved. The lack of leads and suspects has left the community with an unanswered questions and a lingering sense of unease. So I just can't imagine. I mean, but the more I read, because I have studied up some on Samuel Little, and let me go ahead and get his. Oh, I'll have to go. I forgot I didn't bookmark it. Just going to find his Wikipedia information really quick, just to see what you guys think. His MO, because she was, what did it say? She was, well, let me go back first. Says she was beaten to death. There was signs of SA. I don't know if it mentioned strangulation. Let me look and see. Oh, they just said that she had been beaten to death, that there were signs of SA. Okay. So read a little bit about Mr. Little and see what you guys think. To me, it's a possibility. So Samuel Little was an American serial offender who was convicted of 8 homicides. He confessed to committing 93 homicides between 1970 and 2005. The FBI's VICAP, Violent Criminal Apprehension Program, has confirmed. So they have confirmed his involvement in at least 60 homicides. So that is to be able to confirm 60. That's pretty scary. And they say that's the largest number of confirmed victims for any serial offender in American history. So Little, so he's the one that drew sketches of many of his victims. He did provide sketches for 26 of his victims, although not all have been linked to known homicides. He was born in Reynolds, Georgia. His mother, Bessie, was a teenage prostitute who had abandoned him. Authorities believe that she might have given birth to him while in jail. Soon after his birth, his family moved to Lorain, Ohio, where he was brought up mainly by his grandmother. He attended Hawthorne Junior High School. By his own account, he began having sexual fantasies about strangling women as a child, starting when he saw his kindergarten teacher touch her neck. As a teenager, he collected true crime magazines depicting the strangulation of women. So in 1956, after being convicted of breaking and entering into property in Omaha, Nebraska, Little was held in an institution for juvenile offenders. His mother at that time was listed on the booking card as whereabouts unknown, so they don't know where she was. Little moved to Florida to live with his mother in the late 1960s. And by his own account, he was working at various times as a cemetery worker and an ambulance attendant. He said that he then, quote, began traveling more widely and had more run-ins with the law, being arrested in 8 states for crimes that included DUI, fraud, shoplifting, solicitation, armed robbery, aggravated assault, and SA. So let's get down to his murders. So in 1961, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison for breaking into a furniture store in Lorain. He was released in 1964. By 1975, he had been arrested 26 times in 11 states for crimes including theft, assault, attempted SA, fraud, and attacks on government officials. In 1982, Little was arrested in Pascagoula, Mississippi. He faced charges for the homicide of 22-year-old Melinda Rose LaPree, who had gone missing in September of that year. But a grand jury declined to indict him for the homicide. Don't know why. However, while under investigation, Little was extradited to Florida and tried for the homicide of 26-year-old Patricia Ann Mount, whose body had been found in September of 1982. So prosecution witnesses did identify Little in court as a person who had spent time with Mount on the night of her disappearance. But they said due to the mistrust of witness testimonies, he was acquitted in January of 1984. So he then moved to California, where he stayed in the vicinity of San Diego. In October of 1984, he was arrested for kidnapping, beating, and strangling 22-year-old Lori Barros, who did survive, thankfully. 1 month later, he was found by police in the backseat of his car with an unconscious woman who had also been brutalized. Then this was in the same location as the attempted homicide of Miss Barros. So he served 2.5 years in prison for both of those crimes. Upon his release in February of 1987, he immediately moved to Los Angeles and committed at least 10 additional homicides. So he's just going. I mean, I want to know why he was acquitted and not prosecuted for any of these other, anyway, just my opinion. To me, he shouldn't have been out on the streets. So he was arrested on September 5th, 2012 at Wayside Christian Homeless Shelter in Louisville, Kentucky. He was extradited to California to face a narcotics charge, after which authorities used DNA testing to establish that he was involved in the homicides of Linda Alford. Her life was taken on July 13th, 1987. Guadalupe Duarte Apodaca, her life was taken on September 3rd, 1987. And Audrey Nelson Everett, she passed away on August 14th, 1989. So all 3 women, their lives were taken and later found on the street, just on the streets of Los Angeles. He was extradited to Los Angeles, where he was charged on January 7th of 2013. A few months later, the police said that Little was being investigated for involvement in 36 homicides committed in the 1980s, which until then had been undisclosed. In connection with the new circumstances in Mississippi, the LaPree murder homicide case was reopened, and that was Rose LaPree. In total, Little was tested for involvement in 93 homicides of women in many states. So you can just imagine. So he was, I'm assuming DNA, when they say tested for involvement, I'm assuming maybe through questioning and maybe DNA, and maybe through these sketches that he did. But now, like I said earlier, the FBI confirmed through, I'm assuming through some of them DNA, maybe some of them by his testimony, his confession, confirmed that he did take the lives of at least 60, which is, like I said, they say it was the highest number in American history. So Little was tried for the homicides of Alford, Nelson, and Apodaca in September 2014. The prosecution presented the DNA evidence as well as testimony of witnesses who were attacked by the accused at different times throughout his criminal career. On September 25th of 2014, he was found guilty, was sentenced to life in prison, finally, without the possibility of parole. And on the day of the verdict, Little continued to insist on his innocence, as not surprising. It's pretty standard. And before his death, he was serving a sentence at California State Prison in Los Angeles County. So we'll take just a little look at some of his confessions, and then we'll get back to our homicide cases. So on November 9th, 2018, Little confessed to the 1996 fatal strangulation of Melissa Thomas. On November 13th, 2018, Little was charged with the 1994 homicide of Denise Christie Brothers in Odessa, Texas, after having confessed the crime to a Texas Ranger in May of 2018. He pleaded guilty to the homicide of Brothers on December 13th and received another life sentence. The Ector County, Texas District Attorney and Wise County, Texas Sheriff's Office announced on November 13th that Little had confessed to dozens of homicides and may have committed more than 90 across 14 states between 1970 and 2005. So on November 15th of 2018, the Russell County, Alabama District Attorney announced that Little had earlier that month confessed to the 1979 homicide of 23-year-old Brenda Alexander, whose body was found in Phoenix City, Alabama. On November 16th of 2018, Macon, Georgia Sheriff's announced that Little had credibly confessed to the 1977 strangling homicide of an unidentified woman and the 1982 homicide of 18-year-old Fredonia Smith. In the fall of 2018, Little confessed to the 1982 homicide of 55-year-old Dorothy Richards. So he doesn't really have he's got a wide, as far as age, he's got a wide anywhere from the 20s up to the 50s. That's what makes me think, because I think Zelma was, 53 or 54? So he confessed to the 1982 homicide of 55-year-old Dorothy Richards and the 1996 homicide of 40-year-old Daisy McGuire. Both of their bodies were found in Houma, Louisiana. So on November 27th, 2018, the FBI announced that a violent criminal apprehension program team had confirmed 34 of Little's confessions, and they were working to match the remainder of his confessions to known homicides or suspicious deaths. Little began making the confessions in exchange for a transfer out of the Los Angeles County prison in which he was being held. One included his confession to a previous cold case homicide in Prince George's County, Maryland, previously one of only 2 homicide cases in that county with unidentified victims. In December of 2018, Little was indicted for strangling Linda Sue Boards, 23. In May of 1981 in Warren County, Kentucky, her body was found on May 15th, 1981, near U.S. Route 68. One of Little's victims was identified in December 2018 as Martha Cunningham of Knox County, Tennessee. She was 34 when Little took the life of her in 1975. It's just never ending. On May 31st, 2019, Cuyahoga County, Ohio, prosecutors announced indictments with 4 counts of aggravated homicide, 6 counts of kidnapping that accused Little of taking the life of Mary Jo Payton in 1984 and Rose Evans in 1991 in Cleveland. Both victims were strangled and dumped. So it's just an endless list of. He was just. I'm gonna have to do I could do like a whole live stream just talking about Samuel Little. It's just horrifying. So Little, we talked about these sketches. Little had drawn portraits of many women that he took the lives of. These portraits were released by the FBI in hopes of someone identifying the women. At least one portrait solved a cold case in Akron, Ohio. In November of 2020, Little confessed to 2 Florida homicides, one of which another man had been wrongfully convicted. And on April 22nd, 2022, a woman that Little knew was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. Her body was found on the Arkansas side of the Mississippi River in 1990, and she was identified as 30-year-old Zena Marie Jones. So that's just a little taste of so in my opinion, I mean, with his broad range, because when I first saw them mentioning, maybe Samuel Little, I had to go back and look to see what his age range was, but apparently it's anywhere from the early 20s up in the 50s, and Zelma was, I believe she was 53 or 54. So in my opinion, entirely plausible, possible that, but once again, we don't know for sure. It's just a speculation or a theory. But feel free to let me know in chat or in the comments if you're watching replay. Let me get caught up in comments right quick, and then we will move on. Move on. Oh, turn off my camera for a minute. Get me a drink. All right, there we go. That's where I was at. Everything jumped. I lost. There it is. Is that what that means? Piss farting? I don't know. Miss PJ said she's going about and doing stuff. Okay, that's what that means. Oh yeah. Miss PJ was right. As far as says, I'll make a true blue Aussie out of you. Yeah, exactly what I'm doing. So now I know what piss farting means. Hey, True Crime Talk with Frank Meister. Good to see you, sir. Always an honor to have you in here. I'm sure somebody's already thrown your link in. Do check out Frank Meister. Ms. PJ says she's been to Louisville when she was 9 years old. See, that's what I thought too. Far says, look at Samuel's paintings, that she may be in there. Yeah, and I did. I'm gonna have to look at like I said, we may have to do a whole live stream on just Samuel Little. Because I mean, just with the Wikipedia information alone, it's just oh. And I did find somewhere when they did release all the photos. I'll have to get them together and do a slideshow, and we might do a live stream. And talk about Samuel Little. Yes, absolutely. Please check out Miss Doodlebug. I haven't seen Doodle yet, but she might be otherwise occupied. Miss Farr says Samuel likes necks. Yes, he used his hands. Yeah, they said Zelma, because all they found were skeletal remains. They said she had been beaten to death. I mean, I'm sure they could tell that by broken, maybe if it was in the face, or she might have had fracture. Try not to get too graphic. Fractures or things that tell you she could be beaten. I don't know if they could tell she could be strangled, had been strangled. Maybe if the hyoid bone was broken, because a lot of times, not all the time necessarily, but a lot of times in strangulations, the hyoid bone is broken. Yeah, 93. Yeah, definitely look into him, PJ. He's very I don't want to say fascinating because that makes it sound good. It's horrifying. It's horrifying. And like I said, the FBI supposedly has confirmed 60. So Ms. Farr apparently has looked into him. So yeah, just yes, the paintings are very interesting. Absolutely. I'll be frank says sounds a bit like Manson. Yep, Samuel Little is yes, Mustang says Samuel Little was evil. Absolutely. Hey, Sleuthy sweetheart, good to see you. Always good to see you back. Absolutely, Miss Paula. Absolutely suspicious. He was a bad, and I would go back to Samuel. He was a bad, bad dude. I don't know. Let me go. Hold on. Let me go back to Wikipedia. Trial and incarceration. It's probably down at the bottom. Well, didn't say. I'm looking, Junior. Let me just search. Hold on, let me do another search. Did No. Samuel Little did not receive the death penalty in 2014. He was convicted in California of the homicides of 3 women. He was sentenced to 3 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole. He passed away in prison in 2020 at the age of 80. So no, he did not get the DP. He just got the life sentences with no parole. And I'm assuming he passed away of natural causes. That's a good question, Junior. I didn't think about that. Thank you, Miss Miranda. There is Miss PJ's channel. Miss Louise says he was looked at for the Stevenson's murders. Which ones were those? Remind me. Yeah, please do check out Arctic. Thank you, Frank. There is I'll Be Frank's channel. Here's Miss Paula's channel. Yep, definitely somebody can throw in Miss Sleuthy. I can't talk. Sleuthy's channel. I have not seen Arctic, but we all our friend channels, we throw them in, whether they're here or not. Thank you very much. There is a Sleuthy Sweetheart. That's a tongue twister. Sleuthy Sweetheart's channel. Yes, he was just a little horrific. Yeah, absolutely. Sleuthy says his sketches are so creepy. Yes, they are. Junior says he saw an interview with Samuel Little. I know I've watched some probably on ID channel or Oxygen or on YouTube some a lot of stuff, plus reading stuff on the Google machine, firing up the Google machine. Yeah, so that's what I thought too. Sleuthy says Zelma, talking about Zelma, she could very well be a victim. She's within his victim profile. Absolutely. Sleuthy said she's looking at his drawings right now. Yes, absolutely. Check out Mr. Frank Meister. Yeah, Far says that would be good to do a live on Samuel. Yeah, I probably will. Hopefully sooner than later. Yep, he confessed to 93. Mustang agrees. It would be a great research subject. Absolutely. Yep, multiple life sentences, no parole. I watch the ID channel 24. If I'm not watching, I mean, that's my go-to if I'm just kind of bored or just, want something on the background, or if they have a new episode on of the, they show all kinds of they have different names for their different series, but I watch a lot of ID channel. So yes, I do love the ID channel also. All right. Yes, ID Miss Paula says ID channel is a good channel. Absolutely. All right, so that was Zelma. So next we have Alkia Rodgers. Let me get information. Sweating. It's hot in here. This one is from Charlotte, North Carolina, from May of 2003. So this first part of the summary is from CMPD cold case section of the cold case section of their website. On May 22nd, 2003, at approximately 7:26 p.m., CMPD officers responded to a 911 call at the 2700 block of Toomey Avenue in reference to the report of a body in the Southside Park playground. Officers arrived and located a young black female victim who was pronounced deceased at the scene, and the victim was later identified as Alkia Rodgers, age 18, just 18 years old. It was said by Detective Ed Williams that Alkia went to Southside Park to meet up with her 1-year-old son's father. She frequently went to that park to meet up with him to get diapers, food, and other things for the baby. They said that the father was very active in the child's life. Said her child's father was obviously a suspect, but the DNA was not a match. So the father was ruled out as a suspect. And this one does, the jurisdiction is a Charlotte Mecklenburg PD. Let me get their phone number. They can be contacted at 704-336-2337, or you can email jjennings@cmpd.org. So if you have any information on this case, please do not hesitate to call. So let me see what I was able to find in addition. I think I got a couple of short articles. So this first article is from WCNC.com. It is from April of 2019. This month marks 16 years, remember this is 2019, since a Charlotte teenage mother was the victim of a homicide at the playground where she often played with her infant son. And yet no one has been charged with the homicide of 18-year-old Alkia Rodgers. Southside Park looks pretty much the same as it ever has. It's hard to believe it was the scene of such a brutal crime. Evelyn, a lady named Evelyn, who lived by the park near the corner of Remount and South Tryon, says it's not even safe anymore for anybody. So Alkia's body was found at the top of a slide by some children on the evening of May 22nd, 2003, one day after she was reported missing by her family. So this is one where she had already been reported missing by her family the day before, and then unfortunately they found her deceased. Actually, they were the ones that found her. So it says they were walking through the park and saw her. I just can't imagine. I mean, it's bad enough for anybody to, even of law enforcement. I mean, they're human too. They do compartmentalize, but still, it's hard on anybody. But can you imagine? I can't imagine being a family member and finding my loved one. So her family, I'm assuming it means their family, members of her family, when they said they were walking through the park and saw her, and she was discovered with her throat slashed. So her aunt said, quote, she was a beautiful person. She loved her family and she loved her baby. So the medical examiner said it appeared that the former Myers Park student was strangled before her throat was slashed. Cold case detective Ed Williams says it's really sad. It is a horrible way to die. It's very sad. It is awful. Yes, so her body was found about 1,000 feet from her family's home. She was going to meet her 1-year-old son's father at the park. And of course, at that time, detectives immediately had a suspect, which would be the husband. Williams said that Rodgers would frequently go to the park to meet her child's father for things for the baby. He was very active in helping raise his son. The obvious first question was, is he a suspect? And we all know in these kind of cases, the ones closest to them husbands, spouses, significant others, wives even, are the first ones they look at. Williams explained, yes, he was questioned extensively, but nothing has ever been proven. Let's say he still is a suspect. Now, this may be before they got the DNA back. He said there are lots of people who are suspects. So the case went cold in 2007, but Detective Williams and the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department's cold case unit have been working it again over the last 2 years, desperately searching to find Alkia's offender. Williams says they have extensive DNA evidence, including the suspects, but so far there has not been a match, not even her son's father. So they ruled him. So that's kind of confusing. They said he was a suspect, but then they say, they said earlier that the father's DNA did not match. They say her boyfriend's DNA was not found at the scene. We need to make it to someone, and if we match it to someone, I think we'll be okay. Detective Williams says he thinks people may have been afraid to come forward with information about Alkia's homicide when it happened, but now, all these years later, he hopes enough time has passed that someone will talk and help solve the case her family has struggled with for more than a decade. If nothing else, Williams is confident that Alkia's homicide was not a random crime. He says usually when someone is strangled like that and the throat is cut, it's usually people that knew each other. So does he believe that this is the case in this case? And Williams says, yes, I do, without a doubt. So the family is asking anybody who knows anything to step forward. Absolutely. If you see something, say something. If you know something, say something. With all of the evidence detectives have, any clue could lead to finding Alkia's offender. As for Alkia's son, he was raised by his grandmother before her death. He is now 17. He'll be older than that now. And he lives with his aunt, Alkia's sister. So once again, anyone with information about this case is asked to call Charlotte-Mecklenburg PD's cold case unit at 74336-2358. I don't know if it's still active, but it said a reward of up to $5,000 is being offered for information leading to an arrest. So just a horrible, absolutely horrible case. I mean, like I said, I cannot believe that her family, if I was reading it right, her family was the one who found her. It was what, 1,000 feet from their house. Yeah, and at least I've always heard from the professionals that usually with strangulations and throat slashing, they consider it, personal. That's not always the case, but so that's what leads them to believe that it might be somebody that she knew or that knew her. Went down too far. Oh my goodness. Sleuthy says, my grandmother's case was on the Deadly Women and Evil Lives Here. I like Evil Lives Here. I watch a lot of those episodes. Betty Lou Beats. Oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that. Wow. I'll have to look into your grandma's case. Wow. Yes, Sleuthy says, always bring someone with you for exchanges and drop-offs. Yeah, because I mean, obviously, well, not obviously. Well, obviously, yes, in the sense that the boyfriend would most definitely be number one on the list to interview and to look at. Now, they said, from what I understand, they said his DNA did not match. And they did have DNA from the offender, but Sleuthy says strangulation, that's personal. I believe she was 18. Let me go back and look. I believe she was 18. Yes, 18-year-old Alkia Rodgers. She was just I know she was 18 is an adult, but still a baby, in my opinion. That is true. Sleuthy says that strangulation is personal. We've seen in the past that people who have been ruled out have actually been the correct suspect all along. That's true. That is true. So I wonder if they have ruled out, because from what I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, reading all the information we have, that they did find DNA from the suspect. Supposedly the boyfriend was ruled out, but that's not to say, and I'm not saying he was there, but that's not to say he wasn't there and just didn't leave his DNA. I don't know. Hey, Miss Dandy, good to see you, my dear. She was elsewhere. Apologies. Good to see everyone. You're fine, Miss Dandy. Always good to see you. Oh, I will have to find the Miss PJ says Samuel Little's confessions are on YouTube. That might have been where I watched them at. I'm gonna have to definitely dive back into the Samuel Little and have nightmares again for months. Miss Paula says any suspects? No, not that they've named. They said they had DNA from the supposed offender, but they've not been able to match it to anyone. So we will see. I said this is from 2003, so this has been what, 22 years now, if I'm doing my math correct, which is not always. Yes, Dandy says I'm late, but what a beautiful young lady. Absolutely. All right. So next we have Alejandra Hernandez Medina. Get hers. This is from New Mexico. Outlaw Trail, Roswell, New Mexico, from November of 2021. So this is not too long, about 4 years ago. On Thanksgiving Day, and so apparently so on solvethecase.org, I guess anybody can come in and write up the synopsis. But just the way it's written, it was written by one of Alejandra's children, as far as the Solve the Case org information goes. On Thanksgiving Day 2021, my mother, Alejandra H. Medina, was brutally unalived in Roswell, New Mexico. From the beginning, the investigation was mishandled. The house, which was the primary crime scene, was released by police the very same day. Two of my sisters, not realizing the importance of preserving evidence, cleaned it immediately, and this destroyed potential evidence that could have been crucial to the case. So even more disturbing, male DNA was found under my mother's fingernails, yet police, now this is all according to the daughter, police did not request further testing to identify the source. This is a serious investigative failure that may have allowed the offender to walk free. So yes, if this is true, what the daughter is saying, I'm assuming it's a daughter, it could be son. If they found, DNA under the fingernails and they didn't have it tested, why? So it gets even deeper. So the main suspect, my brother, Elijah Medina, was released without charges on July 18th, 2025. So not too long ago. The last time my aunts saw my mother was Wednesday, November 24th, 2021. She left home that evening to cook for Elijah. That was also the last time my family spoke to her. On Thursday, November 25th of 2021, a mechanic who knew my mother went to her house to repair a cement mixer. He later said that it was unusual that my mother did not come out to greet him since she was always a very welcoming person. Elijah was home all day. The mechanic noticed that he smelled of alcohol and even took him out to buy more alcohol. According to Elijah, on Friday, November 26th of 2021, around 4 a.m., he woke up, he went outside to smoke a cigarette, and he said he noticed some boards in the distance. When he went to look, he saw what he first thought was a doll underneath these boards. But upon realizing that it was my mother's body, and his mother's body too, he called 911. So when police arrived at the house, it took Elijah several minutes to open the gate for them. Once inside, he told officers that he had not heard anything unusual. He also told police that my mother had gone to my aunt's house for Thanksgiving dinner, which was not true. In reality, my aunt had called my mother several times that day to invite her, but she never got an answer. As a last attempt, my aunt sent a message inviting both my mother and Elijah to dinner, but the message was never answered. So police searched the property. No one else was there. There was no sign of forced entry, and nothing had been stolen. It says the mother's wallet with cash inside was untouched. Her 3 cars were still at the house. And officers also noted that the home smelled strongly of chemicals as if it had just been cleaned. And so let's say my mother's case has now stalled with no justice in sight. So that's interesting and horrifying that apparently the main suspect is one of Alejandra's children, one of her sons. Now, this is once again just according to one of the other children. So the phone number, the Chaves County, if it'll come up, Chaves County Sheriff's Department in New Mexico is the jurisdictional agency. They can be contacted at 575-624-6500. Or you can email mike.harrington@Chaves, CHAVES, county.gov if you have any information in this case. Right, let me see what I was able to find on her. Okay. So this is from krqe.com. It's from December of 2021. So apparently he was at least arrested and charged with the homicide of his mother. I'm assuming this is Elijah. A Chaves County man is facing charges after investigators say that he took the life of his mother. Deputies were sent to a home in northeast Roswell on early Friday morning and found Alejandro Medina deceased in the front yard. Get rid of the ads. They say there appeared to have been a struggle. Neighbors say 39-year-old Elijah Medina was at home that day and had a strong smell of alcohol. His sister told investigators his mother had a restraining order against him in Colorado, where he had been charged with hitting her. An autopsy showed that Medina had passed away from blunt force trauma. Elijah has been charged with homicide and tampering with evidence. So let me see if I can find something else. how that trial went, or if it's even happened yet. Well, now, did it say that he was? Hold on, let me go back to the other one. Because she said something. The other. Okay, so apparently he was arrested. I don't know, maybe charged. But according to one of the his either brother or sister, it didn't tell if this you can't tell if it's a female or a male who wrote this. It says the main suspect, my brother Elijah Medina, was released without charges on July 18th, 2025. So that was this year. So just a little over a month ago, he was released without charges. Let me see if I can find anything about that. If I can spell. Okay, so this is from the Roswell Daily Record from July of 2025. Hopefully it won't throw me behind a paywall. Log in. Oh man, I might have to find another one. Hey, when they throw me behind a paywall. Oh, okay, maybe it'll let me read it. No, dadgummit. So apparently there was a retrial and he was found not guilty. Hold on, I'm trying to find something else. Don't tell me that's the only one. I'm trying to find something. Oh, don't tell me that was the only freaking article. Oh my gosh. It threw me behind a paywall. I'm looking. I'm going deep in the Google machine, deep in the results, but I'm not getting nothing. Hold on. So just the synopsis of that article I was going to read. It says retrial ends with Medina found not guilty of homicide. The jury returned with not guilty verdicts as on one count each of second-degree homicide and tampering with evidence against Elijah Medina, 43. Wow. Let me go to, there's a Facebook, look at this Facebook group right quick. Okay, so Jessica Medina, I'm just assuming that might be the one that wrote the information on solvethecase.org. Says, we are fighting to get justice for my grandma. She was brutally unalived. Roswell, New Mexico has failed my grandma. They released my grandma's house the same day. Elijah Medina did not do it alone. We are blaming, and they give two names. I'm not going to give the names. But the female's last name is Medina, also Medina. Well, actually, both the names are females. One has a different last name. One has the last name Medina. Okay, I'm gonna put this because there are documents. First, I'm gonna bookmark it so I can go back and revisit it. Because I'm just wondering now if it was. But I'm going to copy this link and put it in the chat. It's to a Facebook group. True Crime, Mystery, and Morbid Events and More is the name of the group. Let me go back to the right tab. So this link that I'm putting in is the link to that post. I'm gonna have to go back and revisit it and look at some documents. But yeah, the one female's name had the last name of Medina. The other was also a female, but it had a different last name. She could be married though. So very interesting. Jumping comments for a minute. Dandy says desert deaths are rarely solved. Are you talking about oh no, the Roswell, New Mexico. Okay, you talking about this one, Alejandra? Yes, the heat and animals. Dandy says cities are far and few between, and with reservations, it's limited investigations because of jurisdiction. Yeah. Yeah, most Sutha said yes. Reservations have their own police, correct? Like you can't legally investigate. Yeah, that's because we do cover here a lot of MMIP, Indigenous person cases, and yes, there's always the conflict between the tribal police and the like outside law enforcement, whether it be city, state, FBI, whatever the case may be. There's always something, yeah, definitely tribal police have that's a whole separate thing from the outside the reservation. Yeah, Dandy says only tribal police can investigate a death on a reservation. Thank you so much, Junior, sir. That is very sweet. So we get to put a cow in the pasture. Thank you so much, Junior. I appreciate it, my friend. Yes, Junior does rock. Hey, Heather, good to see you, dear. I hope you're doing well tonight. Yep, absolutely. Thank you to Junior. And I forgot, oh, who was it? At the end of Monday night's live stream, somebody, I can't remember who it was now. I feel so bad. I'm gonna have to watch. Somebody did a $5, I think it was $5 super chat or super sticker. If you're here tonight and you did it, because after I was doing the outro, I did flash it up on the screen. But I forgot who it was. I apologize. I wanted to say Miranda, but I'm not sure if it was Miranda. It was. I'll go back and watch it again and find it. I'll watch the end of it and find it. But whoever it was, thank you so much. Hey, Shibby, good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, Boston Christian, have I said hi to you already? If I missed you, I'm sorry. I think I saw you earlier. But hello again if I'm saying hello twice. Are you talking about in Alejandra's case? Miss Paula wants to know anything. Any chance that the GOV was involved? Anything's possible, but just from this little bit of information. Now, this might be one that I do some more research into Alejandra's case. To me, from all the information just from we have from solvethecase.org and then from that article I read from, I'm thinking family members involved, or at least one of the, I'm assuming sisters, because it was a female name that wrote that post, thinks that Elijah and then some other two females, one with the last name of Medina, the other one had a different last name, but she could have been married, or maybe a daughter-in-law or something, maybe. But I put the link. I don't want to give the names out because, They haven't been formally named by law enforcement or anything of that nature that I know of, but I put the link in the chat to that Facebook post. So please do read it. And there's also supposedly some documents and some other comments in there. I'm gonna have to go check it out. I bookmarked it so I could go back and look at it. Yeah, there's the link to that post. Oh, Dandy, are you giving Shibby a late pass? A tardy slip? No, but I have watched that channel. As Susie said, it's funny. I always got you confused with Southern Girl Crime Stories, who I mod for now. No, but I have watched some of their stuff. I like their stuff, some of their videos and stuff. It's been a long time since I watched anything from them, but yeah, I enjoy their stuff. Absolutely, Miss Paula. So caught up, and then we will go on to the next one. But yeah, this case, I'm gonna have to look into it some more. Always good to see you too, Shibby. Yes, Dandy says, do not milk Junior. He is not a dairy cow. Yeah, I know. See, I want to go to Roswell just for because I'm into all the, besides true crime, into all the, the aliens and the Bigfoots and all the cryptids and all the weird stuff, Hey, Miss Z, good to see you, ma'am. Z says, hello, everyone. Please do check out Miss Z and Doc over at Trial Junkies United. I caught most of their live stream they had the other night. Good stuff. Good stuff over there. It's good to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Junior. Thank you for being here. And once again, thank you for the $5 super sticker. Very much appreciated, sir. Junior is a long-time supporter. I've known Junior since before my channel and Mr. Steve's chats. I would always see him. Oh, I gotta take it. Okay. Confusing myself. Here we go. All right. We get caught up and we'll move on to the next one. Dino milked the cow. I wouldn't doubt it. Dino, I wouldn't doubt anything that Dino does. Oh, goodness. Let's see. You are very welcome, Miss C. It is an honor to have you in here. God, now, God, I remember those commercials. Dandy says, I leave my windows cracked open, hoping Bigfoot will break in for Slim Jims. You could have either Bigfoot or Macho Man Randy Savage's ghost, I guess, can come in. Because back in the day, Macho Man Randy Savage did Slim Jim commercials. Oh, goodness. Okay, you're caught up, so do that. Next, we have Jodi Brewer. Let me get her information. Get a quick drink before I start reading again. There's her information. All right, so this is from Baker, California. And this is from August of 2003. So Jodi was found deceased off the I-15 freeway in Baker, California. She lived in Las Vegas. So once again, trigger warning just in general for this whole live stream. Jodi's torso was discovered wrapped in cloth and plastic in the Mojave Desert, and she disappeared on August 14th of 2003. So I'm assuming you meant she was found the 29th. So about a little bit over about 2 weeks after she went missing, she was found. So they do mention that Jodi is among the Las Vegas sex workers whose deaths are being reevaluated for possible connections to suspected serial offender Rex Heuermann. So that's a name at least I haven't heard in a while. I haven't heard anything new about Heuermann. What's going on with him? You guys can fill me in on what's going on with Heuermann. Jodi had been working as a prostitute off and on for about 2 years, beginning when she was 17, and this according to her mother. So not a whole lot of information. I think I did find an article. So anyone with information is asked to contact Sheriff Homicide Detail at 909-387-3589 or We Tip at 1-800-78-CRIME. So it's interesting that she is one of the ones being reevaluated for a possible connection to Heuermann. So let me see what I was able to find about her. There it is. So this article, if I can spit it out, is from ktnv.com. It is from August of 2023. 20 years ago, so unalived 20 years ago, Jodi Marie Brewer cold case gets second look. So this week marks a grim milestone for the family of a young Las Vegas woman whose cold case homicide is now being probed for a link to the Gilgo Beach homicides in Long Island, New York. 13 investigators learned that Jodi Marie Brewer, whose body was discovered 20 years ago on August 29, 2003, is among the Las Vegas workers whose deaths are being reevaluated for possible connections to suspected serial offender Rex Heuermann. The Brewer family spoke on camera for the first time to 13 Investigates. Get rid of these ads. So Jodi's mom, Pam, says she looked like Madonna when she walked out the door. She was so sociable. She was so easy to love. She was like Mary Sunshine in my life. So 20 years after Jodi's homicide, the grief is just as raw for her mother, Pam, and younger sister, Jacqueline. Pam says that does not go away. We live this every day of our lives. I can't imagine. Her sister Jacqueline recalls, when she went missing, I was only 13. Losing her was like losing a part of me because, you know, she was always there. It's taking forever to scroll. Okay. So Pam worked as a cocktail waitress at Binion's while Jodi, so Pam was the mom, right? So Pam, the mom, worked as a cocktail waitress at Binion's while Jodi was a student at Cheyenne High School. Pam says, and she dropped out. She got her GED. She was going to go to beauty college for a little while until they took the grant away, and then she couldn't go anymore without the grant. So on August 14th, 2003 was the day that her 19-year-old daughter disappeared. Pam says she had gone out for the night, and she said, I love you, Mom. She said, I'll see you in the morning. And I said, I love you too. And I never saw her again. So Jodi's torso was discovered wrapped in cloth and plastic 2 weeks later in the Mojave Desert. So 13 Chief Investigator Darcy Spears asked Jodi's mother. There was some specific information that kind of pointed toward a serial offender theory, correct? And Pam, the mom, says, right. They said there was a surgical saw used to dismember her, and then it was used with precision. So now, 2 decades later, Jodi's long cold case is getting a second look. It is part of a wider effort to hunt for more possible victims of suspected serial offender Rex Heuermann, who owns a timeshare just a few miles off the Las Vegas Strip and previously owned another. Pam, her mom, says, it seems to me like the areas that he bought the condos in were prostitution areas, and that it would have been really easy for him. So, like the Gilgo Beach homicide victims, Brewer says her daughter had turned to prostitution after falling into the wrong crowd and using substances. And when you learned that was the path your daughter was going down, how did you deal with that? And that's what one of the reporters asked. And Pam says, I remember her telling me over the telephone, and I screamed. It's all I could do. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to take it or how to deal with it at the time. It was just kind of a shock. A close review of 266 Las Vegas cold case homicides showed that Jodi's tragic fate was also shared by 4 other workers between 2003 and 2006. They also passed away in similarly suspicious circumstances. A law enforcement source tells 13 Investigates that he has no doubt that, quote, one person is to blame for at least several of those cases. Now, whether or not it's Huerman or another serial offender that was operating in that area, but we don't know. So our source says the DNA evidence could take many months to process, since the older it is, the more degraded it gets over time. Jacqueline, who I believe is Jodi's sister, says hearing the whole Rex Huerman thing, it is totally different now because it gives us a little hope in a weird way, just for everybody, like the survivors and the victims. Hopefully we can get some resolutions. Pam, her mom, says the pain is still there, but it would be nice to know what happened. So just once again, these families, especially this mamas, reading what they're, what. So y'all gonna have to get me caught up on the Huerman. Has anything been going on with him lately? I've not even thought about him until I was researching and putting all this stuff together yesterday, last night, whenever it was that I was putting it together. Maybe this morning when I finished it up. I'm like, I hadn't heard anything about Huerman lately. Get me another drink. Get caught up in comments quickly. Sorry, I try not to slurp on my drink here, but Sleuthy says Bigfoot has to have about 18 grandchildren running around somewhere by now, assuming there was a Mrs. Bigfoot. Oh. Sasquatch Gang? I haven't heard that. Sleuthy says Sasquatch Gang is a funny movie with Justin Long. I remember Justin Long. Dandy says there are Bigfoot crossing signs as you enter Pikes Peak. It's kind of a thing here. Oh. Yes, dude, please check out Miss PJ. Yeah, she does fit the description. Sleuthy says she fits his description for sure. I'm still waiting to hear more on that case. So there's really been nothing of value of substance released. Have they even set a trial date for him, or I don't know. Like I said, I hadn't even thought about him lately until I read that article. But yeah, she was a sex worker. She fits the as far as the look and the age. She was dismembered. Not, obviously we don't, not to get too graphic, but I mean, and interesting that she was wrapped in some kind of cloth and plastic. And so weren't the Gilgo Beach, they were wrapped in that burlap, camo burlap, or whatever it was. So that's interesting. Yes, I am also. Sleuthy says she's very interested in Gilgo Beach case. Yes. Can't wait to see you live again, Miss PJ. Yeah, not burlap. See, that's what I thought when it said, or when that said that she had been wrapped. I think it was it just said plastic and I may have to go back to the other one. It was plastic and hold on. Let me find it and take me a second here. She was wrapped in cloth and plastic. Now I don't know if they would consider burlap cloth. Burlap is a type of cloth, but they did not, specifically say burlap. Cloth and plastic, and left in the Mojave Desert. Interesting. Yes, he is very creepy. Yes, I watched that a few times. Sleuthy said, talking about Huerman, his architect to business interview is so creepy knowing what we know now. Absolutely. Dandy says, I cannot discount anything RH. RH was a busy guy with many MO. Absolutely. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Dandy says, I do believe in New York, he needs to be convicted to legally upload his DNA into CODIS. But have they even set a trial date yet or anything? I literally have not heard anything or read anything. But like I said, I have not researched, looked into it lately for any updates. I knew what you meant, Dandy. Hey, Film Freak, good to see you back. Uh, Film Freak says a judge is currently going through DNA evidence to link Rex Human to the bodies found. So until that is complete, his case is in limbo. Okay. All right. So they found his DNA or some DNA linked to him on what one or two of the bodies. Sleuthy says, I think they will prosecute Rex to the fullest extent. I have faith they are working hard on. Oh, I do too. Yeah. Okay. Trial junkie Ms. Z says no. So far, no date for the trial. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Dandy says, I'm waiting for LA to link the Asian doe to Rex's. His Google searches lead me to that conclusion. Yep. Yeah, he's only like 8 feet 9. He's a big dude. He's a big, scary dude. No trial date yet. Okay. So they're still in the investigative. He is still in jail, though, right? I'm assuming. I agree. Mustang says, I think Rex has many more victims. Oh, I absolutely do too. I absolutely agree with you 100%. And being, especially in these, because he has ties to, trying to write my brain here. So we know he has ties to Las Vegas because he had those. Is that where he had the, I almost say compound. That's not the right word. The timeshare, the condos or whatever. And then he had, I think, ties to what, North Carolina or South Carolina. And I can't remember where else. Now, I think they tried to link him to, I hate to misspeak or give wrong information. Was it somewhere in 4 homicides in Atlantic City? Was it in Atlantic City they were trying to link him to? But I think they pretty much ruled him out of those. Yes, he's still in. Film Freak says yes, he's still in jail. So Sleuthy says prosecutors claim that DNA evidence links Huerman to 6 of the 7 women he is accused of unaliving. Okay. Dandy says he is in jail and his ex-wife is making bank exploiting him. Does that really surprise you? doesn't surprise me. And her situation, yeah. Yeah, the last thing that I remember, they were showing some kind of drawings, writings, or something with his daughter that were a little dark. And now, just because you draw dark things or interested in things doesn't mean, because they were trying to say that she was in on it with him, if I remember correctly. Once again, this been many months ago. Doesn't mean she had anything to do with it, but because I mean, I love all kinds of horror movies and dark stuff, not like really, really dark. But I've never killed anybody. I've never killed anybody. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Just because you're interested in that kind of stuff doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go out and do something. But it doesn't mean you wouldn't. Okay, so Dandy says his ex-wife sold the prop. So yeah, so they had property in the Carolinas to Rex's brother for $1. And I think there was a case in Carolina, I can't remember, North Carolina, South Carolina, of a young lady that went missing. I don't know if she was found. They were trying to see if maybe he had anything to do with it. I can't remember his name. Yeah, I don't think so either. Sleuthie says, I don't think the daughter has anything to do with it. I don't either. She might be a little strange and into some weird dark stuff, but once again, just because you're into that kind of stuff does not mean that you're a serial offender or have taken the life of anybody. Ms. Z says it was the attorney who worked for one of the victims at one time, but he got press hungry. Who is that? Who are you talking about? I've done forgot. Oh. Okay, Sleuthy says the victims linked to Rex by DNA are Megan Waterman, Jessica Taylor, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Amber Costello, yeah, Valerie Mack, and Sandra Castilla. Okay, so I knew about those. So they haven't linked any other ones yet to him. That's what I would think. Ms. Z says trying to keep property in the family, only $1, trying to hide something. I'm telling you, I would be doing some ground penetrating radar or something on that property. But this again, you have to, go through the proper channels and have probable cause to get a search warrant to go on and do that kind of stuff. But I'll just say I would not be surprised if for some reason they do, by any chance, do some digging or do anything on that property. I would not be surprised if they found something. It's just my opinion. Oh, so the attorney was the one that started the stuff about the daughter. Okay. Gotcha. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I remember that didn't he was the one that had the press conference that was showing all the pictures and stuff that she supposedly drew and all that mess. Thank you. It's all coming back to me now. Hey, Miss Peggy, good to see you, dear. Always good to see you. Shibby is going to feed the cats. All right. Oh no, did Shibby find a white creeper van emoji? I can't see it on the StreamYard side. Oh my goodness. Don't let Miss Doodle see it. Her and her creeper vans. Okay. So we have Alina Garcia. This might be our last one. Let me find her information. Yellow, I don't know if you can see it. Yellow on my kitty cat cup. I got my kitty cat cup tonight. Right, so this is from Barstow, California, from July of 2004. So this is another one that was found. Was the one before found on I-15? We'll have to go back and look at it. Hold on, let me go back and. So that was Jodi. Hold on, I'm going back. Yes, so Jodi's body was found off of I-15, I-15 freeway in Baker, California, which I'm assuming I-15 is a major interstate, kind of like 40 that runs. Well, 40 runs from coast to coast, but it runs right down through the middle of Arkansas. Okay, so Alina's body was found along the I-15 freeway in Barstow, California. Prior to her death, she was in the company of Christopher Chavez, aka Ghost, and Carlos Aguilar. So leaving behind her young son, Fernando Vigil, and a grieving family desperate for answers, Alina was known for her love of music and dance, passions that she eagerly shared with her son and her loved ones. Her untimely death not only robbed her of a future, but also deprived her son of a mother's love and guidance. On July 10th of 2004, a group of off-road enthusiasts riding their quads near the Hodge Road exit along Interstate 15 made a horrifying discovery. They stumbled upon the burned remains of a young woman, later identified as Alina Garcia. So the San Bernardino County Coroner's Office determined that she had suffered blunt force trauma and multiple stab wounds, indicating a violent and personal attack. So this gruesome finding marked the beginning of a complex and, to this date, as of 2025, unresolved investigation. So anyone with information is asked to contact the Sheriff's Homicide Detail at 909-387-3589 or We Tip, which is 1-800-78-CRIME. Right, so I think I found an article. See what it says. So this is from vvdailypress.com. It is from July of 2008, Finding Justice for Alina. Get all the ads out of the way. So little Fernando Vigil, 7, is full of questions for his grandparents and father. He wants to know about spiders and creepy crawlies like so many boys his age do. One question they cannot answer has haunted the family for 4 years. And he wants to know, Grandma, have they caught the bad men that killed my mommy? Oh, it's killing me. So Vigil's mother, Alina Garcia, was the victim of a homicide in 2004, and the family and investigators have been trying to find those responsible. The 25-year-old's body was discovered along Interstate 15 on July 10th, 2004, by a group of off-roaders who were riding their quads in an area near the Hodge Road exit. Deputy District Attorney John Thomas, who is head of the cold case unit for the County of San Bernardino, said, "We just passed the anniversary of her homicide, and we want to help bring this to a close for the family. But her family is looking for more." Alina's mother, Sandy, says, "For me, there won't be any closure, as the feelings from 4 years ago swelled, bringing tears to her eyes." She says, what we want is justice for Alina and Fernie, who is her son. So the cold case team has been actively looking for leads into Garcia's murder and hopes that someone out there may remember something that can help solve the case. After not seeing his daughter for 2 days, on July 11th, her father, Rudy, reported her missing, unaware that Alina's burned remains had already been found. San Bernardino County Coroner's officials were also able to determine that she passed away of blunt force trauma and multiple stab wounds. And her death shook the close-knit family. Alina's 31-year-old brother Danny has taken it very hard. Sandy, according to her mother Sandy, her grandmother, who Alina was very close to, still has a hard time dealing with Alina's death. 4 years ago, investigators discovered that she was last seen on July 9th with two men, Christopher Chavez and Carlos Aguilar, of the Oro Grande area, but no arrests were made. For the Garcia family, a large part of their anger and grief is directed towards people not coming forward. Rudy says, for those who say that they know and love Alina, they need to come forward and tell what they know. Adding that he grew up with the families of Chavez and Aguilar, which are the two men last seen with Alina. The case will also get a boost from new technology not available 4 years ago. And Thomas says, now we have the ability to go back and apply the new technology to these cold cases. Along with conducting additional interviews, evidence in Alina's case is being sent to the FBI lab in Quantico, and DNA samples are being analyzed. Detectives believe that a white 1989 Mazda MX-6 with California license plates 2 POD 731 may have been involved in the homicide, but they have yet to locate the vehicle. Authorities believe it may have been transported to Mexico. Thomas says, we are hoping that someone may remember something, or as time has gone by, they've had a change of heart and want to talk. So there's a thing with these cases. Maybe if we can say there is a good thing about cases that go on, is the more time goes on, some people who may have been afraid to talk in the beginning because certain people are around, or, you know, a lot as the years go by, people pass away, people move away, witnesses may move away. Their loyalties may change. If they may have had some kind of loyalty to somebody they think may have had something to do with Alina's case, if they may no longer want to keep information to themselves to protect this person or persons. So sometimes, if, like I said, if there is any kind of good in a case that goes on, sometimes that's it. Sandy, her mom, Alina's mom, says they have taken away her chance to be a mother and to grow up with Fernie. Now the Garcias and their son-in-law will continue to raise Fernie in the home that Alina grew up in. They will tell him about his mother's love of music and how she lost herself in dance. So it's just, oh, and her little boy is so cute. I encourage you, once again, for anybody coming in late, the link to all the online sources I use are in the description box. And this article has pictures of Alina, a beautiful girl. Well, you can tell by that picture there, but it has pictures of her and Fernie, her little boy. He's just adorable. So if you would like to read it and look at the pictures, the links are in the description box. Just breaks my heart. All right, let me see what you guys have got going on. Trying to get that down to where, there we are. There's where I was at. Oh goodness. It jumped again. Hold on. Shibby says type in van. Oh, I'll try it when I'm in somebody else's chat. I can't do it on the StreamYard side. Next time I'll try to do it in Dave's chat. Type in van on the emoji thing and see if van will come up. Miss Doodle will love that. Boston says, all right, going back to Rex Shearman. RH loved nothing more than destroying young ladies every way possible. I can see him trying to destroy his daughter's innocence in any way he could. He lived for it, not only their body, but their soul. Yep. Yep. Dandy says, she's purty. Yes, Alina is beautiful. I'm telling you, look up that article, and it has more pictures of her, and then a picture, at least one picture of her with her son. Adorable little boy. Oh, is that the van? Mustang found the van. Yeah. Ms. Z says, Ghost sounds like a really warm and fuzzy person. Yeah. So I would be interested. Obviously, the two on my list would be Chavez and Aguilar. They were the last person. And I'm not saying that they did it, obviously, because we don't know. Just because they were last to be seen with her doesn't mean, but it doesn't mean they didn't. So where was the ghost? Which one was the ghost? I can't remember. Oh, I might have to go back to the other information. Let me get back there. My computer's being slow as usual. Oh yeah, Christopher Chavez, aka Ghost. So Chavez was Ghost, and Carlos Aguilar. Prior to her death, she was in the company of Christopher Chavez, aka Ghost, and Carlos Aguilar. Yep, I would definitely be talking to those two. Yes, she is beautiful. Yeah, Dandy says that is a sad reality of most of these monsters. Yes, definitely heartbreaking. Yeah, Dandy says, I can't imagine being out for a good time and finding remains. Yeah, I didn't say it was just some kids or people out riding the quads, which we call quads four-wheelers around here in the country. I'm assuming it's close to the same thing, and just coming upon the remains. Was this one that said, not to get too graphic, but said that she had been burned, but they could tell that she had been strangled and stabbed? Oh, we'll have to watch that. Sleuthy says, I'm working on a case out of San Bernardino. I'm doing an update live on Monday. But yeah, that go. The Emmanuel Harrow case. Has anything new come out on it in the last day or so? I know they did. Did they do another press conference today or yesterday? Because I think, yeah. So Alina was our last one. So let me talk. Yes, DNA technology has come very far. Yes, most definitely. That case is heartbreaking. Yes. I agree, Dandy. Dandy says little baby Harrow, that poor baby was failed epically. Miss Louise says, I think what has happened to Emmanuel is going to change laws. Yep. Yep. See, I'm still struggling to understand how Jake, the father, after he was convicted or at least charged, he was let out for harming another child. Was it his child? Who that child, from what I hear, never be the same. I don't understand how he was even out on the streets to be around other children. Yep, Miss Paula says she was pretty. Absolutely. Oh, you're fine, Sleuthy. We that's fine. You're good. Yep. Once again, visit our Arctic. Miss Peggy says, yes, Jake should have been put away then. Also, Vanessa, I think she was also guilty of abuse. Can't say she never saw what was going on. I know. Thank you once again. There is True Crime Web, Mr. Steve and Mrs. Steve, and PJ. Oh, the father, Jake, did a jailhouse interview. Oh, good Lord. Sleuthy says, yes, I posted the press conference from yesterday. They believe he succumbed by being abused. I'm gonna have to take a look at it. Sleuthy says, I posted the press conference. I believe the baby was abused and passed from that, and they have an idea of where his remains are. Well, hopefully they can find them, and so the poor baby can be given a proper burial. Yes, thank you very much, Dandy. There is Miss Sleuthy Sweetheart's link. All right, you guys have anything else before we get out of here? Thank you, everybody who is here, who's been here in chat, who's been lurking. Hello, we love our lurkers. We love our replay crew. So if you're watching replay, thank you very much. Sleuthy says his interview was trash, in my opinion. Yeah. Would you expect anything less? I wouldn't. Yeah, so don't forget, everybody hit the like button. If you're watching replay, leave a comment, and even if you're in chat after the live stream ends, please leave a comment. It can just be an emoji or anything. All those things help the YouTube's algorithm push it out to more people. That's the whole point, is to get all this information, especially about our missing persons, out to as many people as possible. So today's Thursday. So Monday we'll be back with our Missing Person Monday live stream, and we are doing Wyoming. And I believe that is the last state, and we'll have covered at least once, because for the last few minutes we've been going through all 50 states and featuring 5, 6, 7 cold cases. I feature mostly cold cases here. So I believe Wyoming will be our last one. So we might take a break for a minute, and then we'll probably unfortunately have to start all over with the states. We may change it up a little bit. So stick around, or not stick around. Hopefully you'll be back. Y'all can be back Monday night live. If not, replay crew rocks. And then I will try to get some videos recorded. I don't think I got any videos uploaded this week. So I've been having trouble with my arm, but I did go to the doctor yesterday, and they did all kinds of poking and prodding and moving. I said they think it's just inflammation of the tendons. I may have strained my tendons in my upper arm. They give it, try to rest it as much as possible, put ice on it, or a ice heating pad, and then put like icy hot patches on it. So it's feeling a little bit better. So anyway, thank you everybody who was here. Thank you, Mustang. Always a pleasure to have you here. Thank you, Miss Heather. Always good to have you here. Thank you, Miss Peggy. She says so many heartbreaking cases, never ending. I know we could be on here 24/7 and unfortunately not cover all of them. Yes, you're talking about Jake. Yes, I agree. Thank you once again. Dandy said the charges are on point. So what have they been charged on so far? Homicide, and what else? I said I haven't had time to keep up lately. Haven't watched it. I didn't watch that the newest news conference they've done yet. Yes, absolutely. Dandy says share, like, subscribe, do all the things so you don't miss notifications. Once again, make sure you're still subscribed to any channel that you want to be subscribed to. Yes, it is still Thursday. Did I say Friday? Yes, it's still Thursday, technically. Well, in Miss Paula's part of the world, because she's on the East Coast. Thank you, Shibby. Good to have you here always. Oh, is it your little one's birthday today? Dandy says it's still Thursday. My little River turned 9 today. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to River. Excellent. All right. So, everybody have a good rest of your week. Have a good weekend. Everybody be safe. Trying to get my multitask here. Everybody be safe. Everybody take care of each other. We're all we have. Just try to be a good human being. It's not that hard to do. So I'm going to leave you to end on a little bit of a lighter note because we've been discussing some heavier things. But I will leave you once again with the fur babies, with Tigger and Little Biscuit. And I will see you guys. I should hopefully be able to stay awake Saturday night, Sunday morning for Dave's Live. Out on the Prowl. Please do. If somebody can throw his link in real quick. Please do check out Out on the Prowl, our Dave. He does his one weekly live stream late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. So I'm going to do my best to make it live this time because I fell asleep last Saturday because I'd taken something to go to sleep because my arm was hurting. But anyway, I will leave you with the fur babies, Tigger and Little Boo Boo Biscuit. So I will see you guys Monday. Thanks, guys.